Hi there, Alan from Rockmax here again. So this is part 2 of our couple of videos on getting the best out of hollow core braids. In this video, we're going to look at splicing monofilament line inside the hollow core, how to attach it, what tools to use. Right, so now we're going to look at making a splice in the hollow core by threading the end of a mono top shot up inside the hollow core. I'll show you how to make a simple knot that will hold the end of the hollow core in place, and a few little tips that will make the whole process easier for you. So just to start with, so this is the end of my hollow core. So this, obviously, the other end of that is going to be attached to your reel. Before you start, you want to make sure that there's sufficient space on your reel to accommodate the top shot. You really don't want the reel to be over full. Otherwise, while you're winding the fish in, the top shot can rub against the frame of the reel, and the line potentially will get damaged and give you a weak spot just where you don't need it. So just err on the side of slightly underfilling your reel, I think, is good advice. So what do I need to do this? Obviously the hollow core that's on the reel, a nice sharp pair of scissors, ideally with a serrated blade. These are the Daiwa Braid scissors. They're really good for cutting braid, nice and sharp and pretty inexpensive. We'll need some brush-on super glue. This Zappa Gap glue stays flexible when it sets, so it's much better for any sort of fishing application where what you're gluing is actually going to be flexing in the future. So I recommend that one for this job. We need a lighter. I'll show you what we need that for a little bit later. A hollow threading needle. So this needle is made out of surgical stainless steel. It's quite a precision piece of kit. It must be completely smooth, because it mustn't snag when you thread it up inside the hollow core. There mustn't be any rough bits on the needle that are going to catch the sidewalls of the hollow core and potentially weaken it. So you need to get the right bit of kit to do this. This is a Daho needle, and finally, this is the material that we're going to use as our top shot. So the top shots generally would be between 50, 100, 150 yards long, something like that, and the breaking strain of the top shot wants to roughly equal the breaking strain of the hollow core. You wouldn't be able to put 200 pounds hollow core inside 60 pounds braid, because it would just be, the diameter of the mono would be too great to fit inside. So this is 130 pounds hollow core. Up to 150 would be very comfortable to push up inside this. Obviously, it's the thickness of it's the diameter of the needle that limits how easy it is to push the needle up inside the hollow core. So, just to make life easy, if we say that within a margin, hollow core and top shot, similar kind of breaking strain. So first thing to do is I've just cut this end off with these sharp Daiwa scissors, and I've got a nice neat end on the hollow core. So I'm going to first of all just push this mono up inside the needle. So before you do that, it's a good idea if you just cut it at a bit of an angle, so it's got like a little point on the end. That will be easier to thread inside the needle. The other thing to do, which is will help you, is if you put a kink in the mono like that, just by pushing it against itself, that's going to help. When I thread that inside the needle, that's going to help the mono stay inside the needle. If you're using mono that's a heavier breaking strain, you can bend the rules a little bit by maybe just filing that, just slicing that down with a razor blade, so you get like a thinner end, so you'll be able to fit it in a smaller diameter needle. But this is the right combination of needle and mono, so that's pretty easy to thread up inside the needle, and it comes to a definite stop, and I can pull it out, but there is a bit of resistance there, so it's not going to keep falling out while I'm threading the mono up inside the hollow core. So just to start things off, we're just going to push the end of the braid together, just open up the weave a little bit. The needle will now start finding its way through there. See, that's just opening up around the needle, and we want the braid to be just like that, level with the needle. So as I push it in, the needle is not going to want to come out the side. It's going to want to continue through the middle of the hollow core. So I'm just going to start pushing that in. When it's about halfway along the needle, this is where the lighter comes into play. Because do you see I've got all the loose frayed ends there as I'm opening the weave up. It's I just want to get rid of those, so I use the lighter for this. So if I just quickly flash the lighter past that, what that does is it melts all those little end bits into a more solid piece, and that will also give me something for my knot to butt up to when I put the locking knot onto the end. So I'm now going to push this up through. Whoop, that's just come out the side there. This is what you don't want to happen, so just going to stroke that back into place and just keep feeding that through. So now that's, the needle's completely disappeared inside the hollow core, and I can keep this going now for as long as I want to. I probably look for something like two meters of the mono buried inside the hollow core. The way this works is then the harder you pull on the hollow core, the more it's going to grip the mono, because as you pull it, it pulls the weave tight on the monofilament, and this is why we get such a strong join from using this method, because it's the Chinese handcuffs thing. The more you pull, the more it locks into place. So I'm just going to for this demonstration, I'm not going to push it 2 meters up. We're actually going to stop here. I'll just ease the needle out through the wall of the hollow core. Again, this wants to be done quite carefully, so you've got no damage to the little fibres in the hollow core. So now I can pull the needle out. I can remove the needle from the mono. I'm just going to slide everything along, so the end of the mono gets lost inside the hollow core. Obviously you're going to be doing this with 2 meters of line, so So just pull that in so it disappears. Once it's disappeared, I can just stroke that into place, and that obviously is going to travel seamlessly through your rod rings back onto your reel. You'll hardly notice it's there. Right, so the next thing I need to do is lock this in place. Now the simplest way I've found to do this, and I found this to be really effective, I just get a little length of 30-pound breaking strain line. Let's get the needle back again. I'm actually going to tie what's called a nail knot over the top of this. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Right. So, if I put the hollow needle next to the junction of the hollow core and the mono, I just want to lay this mono alongside both, parallel to both of them, and then if I take a wind around, and then the next wind around actually has started to travel back this way. So I'm going to go around it 2, 3, 4 times. That's all you need to do. I'm just going to hold that between my thumb and forefinger so it doesn't come loose. Then I'm going to thread the end of the mono back inside the needle. So when I pull the needle through, I've actually got a knot that's going to tighten as I pull each end. That's as I say, that's called a nail knot. Now that can be shifted along. I just want to tighten that up a little bit more. And I want the knot to finish up just where that lump is, where we heated the end of the hollow core up. Now, this is quite a crucial bit. Holding the line in each hand, you want to tighten this knot up as much as you can. As you tighten it, you'll see that the hollow core inside the knot, as the knot's pulling it together, it actually changes colour. When you see it change colour, pull it some more, and then we can cut these tag ends off very close. I don't want the tag end sticking out at all, because we're going to glue the knot into place so the knot can't slip. There we go. That's cut off. The reason I use this, you see a lot of people use a longer whipping, but what I found is as the mono stretches inside the hollow core, it's got a tendency to pull the whipping apart. If you use this method, it's dead simple, but also you don't get that problem. Once this is glued into place, it's there. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a little coat of this brush on super glue, Zappa Gap. And I find it's best if we just put one pretty thin coat on to start with. I'll leave that to dry. It dries pretty quickly, but I'll leave it for half an hour or so, and then come back to it and add another coat to it. So not only is the nail knot holding it in place, but also the super glue. So that's just not going to move. And that's it. So now when that's dry, obviously you can just wind your top shots back onto the reel, cut it off when the level of the reel has reached a point that you're happy with, and job done.